Today, I'm building a hidden door to a secret room in my daughter's closet. This ended up being a really fun build, but did present some pretty big design challenges along the way.
So when we bought this house, we discovered it had all kinds of cool features, and one being this hidden room in my daughter's closet. So today, we're gonna build a secret door that goes into the hidden room with a cool opening mechanism. And my friend Chris, all the way from Canada, is gonna help me with this project.
Dude, it's project.
Project? All right, Chris, so you came all the way from Canada to help me with this project, and I think you have some really, really cool ideas for how we can make this work. So what do you think we should do?
Well, I think the point of having this room and the way that it's structured is you don't want people to know what's here.
Yeah.
So I think some kind of a mechanism that we can come up with that is hidden, that only your daughter would know about, would be just absolutely slick.
But first up, we need to demo the door and see what we're working with because it's kind of narrow. We're hoping that we can expand the space a little bit.
Really working up a sweat. Demo's all done, Mr. Builds.
Okay, awesome, good.
Chris and I went over to the shop so I could start working on the cabinet, which serves as that hidden door, while Chris figured out the locking mechanism. I just got this giant new Avid CNC, and this is the first project where I get to use it extensively. And I must say, being able to cut full 4x8 sheets of plywood on this machine is an absolute game changer. While I was busy cutting out all these parts, Chris engineered a locking mechanism and slapped together a quick prototype.
All right, man, you've been working on the prototype for the lock mechanism. It looks pretty cool. What do you got?
Oh man, this is what kept me up last night. The idea is, because there's gonna be the pegboard wall, is you're basically gonna have the one peg that you can compress in, and it lifts just enough to have the hinge open and close.
Okay, like through like a cable and a pulley system.
Exactly. The concern that I have is the mechanism actually not failing on us because the peg is getting stuck and binding as we go.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna have to figure out something to get it to actually return properly.
Yeah.
So the mechanism is more than just a one-way lock.
Chris also designed a bank vault style lock, and that's what I'm cutting out here. Like Chris said, the door has a series of dowels that will allow my daughter to hang her hats, jewelry, and whatever else. And one of those dowels is going to be a hidden mechanism that you push in to open the door. We pre-finished and assembled the door at the shop, and you may notice all the Rockler products and these clamps that I use on this build. Rockler is a big supporter of my channel, and I'll make sure that I have all those links down below for these Rockler products that I used here. Thanks so much to Rockler for supporting what I do. Once the door was all put together, we brought it back to the house to fit it into the doorway, which is now much wider than it was originally. Before installing the door, we cut and installed the trim for the inside of the doorway. we picked up some hinges that we're gonna use for the mechanism of the door. These are actually pretty simple. This is the bottom hinge. There's a little ball bearing, so it should travel pretty nice. The challenge is we have to route out a pocket in this 2x4 at the top of the door and the same thing at the bottom. The top pin has a lever that lowers the pin down into the hinge on top of the door. This lever requires a pocket be routed out so it will fit up into the door frame.
So we're finding extra uses for our pulleys, and the fact that we bent and put an eye hook on this makes an absolute perfect plumb bob.
Making sure that the door hinges are perfectly coplanar is important to ensure that the door swings open and closed easily without binding up, and using this improvised plumb bob allowed us to get the hinges aligned exactly. When we tried to install the door here, we realized it was too deep to stand upright into the door opening and drop down into that hinge plate. I used my track saw to cut off a 3/4 inch strip from the back side of the door, and this is going to be hidden, and that gave us just enough room to force the door back up and down into place. Bro, you gonna help me with this or what?
I gotta get back to Canada.
We're not done with our project.
It's project.
Seriously, I hated to see Chris go. He and his wife Erin and a whole bunch of my maker friends and family were all in town for Katie and I's late wedding reception party. Chris is a great guy and one of my favorite makers, and I encourage all of you to go check out his channel, Mortgage and Miter, which I've got linked down below.
The door is all installed, but one of the problems that I'm having is it's sitting too low, causing it to catch on that threshold and the carpet back behind it. Now, once I get it out over the concrete floor right here, it swings really nice. Those hinges are great. So what I need to do is actually raise the whole door up off of that hinge about 1/2 inch. And I'm gonna do that with these. These are flat nylon washers that I got from McMaster-Carr. I'm gonna notch out a section so I can slot that around that bottom hinge, stack them up till I get 1/2 inch. That should allow the door to swing freely. So one thing we forgot to account for when we were designing the locking mechanism for this door is how the back side of the door actually juts out another 6 inches from the wall. So what I did was I went back to the shop, jumped on the CNC, and created what is essentially a large plywood box that's gonna trim the wall out another 6 inches and give me a place to finish this door out.
After I installed the trim out boxes, I could tackle the door lock and hinge mechanism. I drilled out that 3/4 inch hole on the bottom right of the grid, and the 3/4 inch dowel will pass through and serve as that opening mechanism. First, to get the door to stop even with the wall, I cut and installed that first piece of trim. I used one of the dowels Chris cut in the shop to mark where I needed to cut this opening dowel. I added the stop collar and secured it in place with a screw, and then threaded on an eye bolt on either side of that opening dowel. The dowel is going to get springs attached to both eye bolts, and those springs connect to eye bolts attached to the back side of the door. This allows that dowel to be pushed in from the front as the opening mechanism and then return to its resting place because of those springs. The motion of the dowel going back pulls up on the door lever that's attached to the back side of the door by use of a cable and pulley to attach everything. I anticipated needing to adjust this multiple times to get it all dialed in, but it worked like a charm on the first go, so shout out to Chris for his awesome engineering on this mechanism. Chris also designed this bank vault style locking mechanism so the door can lock from the inside once it's closed. This works by that center flywheel attaching to a lever and then 2 arms that actuate and catch on those trim out boxes when they're extended. Once I had those installed, all that was left was the final trimming out of the doorway and adding the final hardware for the locking mechanism. I swapped out the string we used to prototype the locking mechanism for some of the 16th inch braided cable, and it's got a ferrule on each end that creates a loop that attaches to the eye bolt. All right, now is the moment that I've been waiting for. The hidden door to the secret room in my daughter's closet is all done, and now I get to show it to her for the first time. Hey Chloe, come in here and check this out.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
This is so cool.
Okay, do you know how to open it?
I think so. Is it this one?
Maybe. Try it. Oh, she's got it. She's got it.
Do I push or pull?
Here, let me hold your dog.
Wait.
Come here, Olive. All right, so you push and then pull the door open at the same time. There you go.
Oh my god. Come on, Olive. What's the wheel for?
Well, let me show you. You got to pull on that thing to lift the handle back up so it gets over the catch. There you go. Once you're in here, if there's like an emergency and there's someone in the house and you gotta lock yourself in the room, you turn the lock like that, yep, and it catches on the door and then no one can open it from the outside.
Oh, that's so cool. Look at that. Oh my gosh, and you just turn it the other way.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? Chris designed that and the locking mechanism.
That's so neat. Go, Chris.
This was one of the more fun builds I've ever done. Thanks for watching, and make sure you all go check out Chris's channel, Mortgage and Binder. Also, make sure you get subscribed to Johnny Builds and follow me over on Instagram. And as always, thanks for checking this one out, and I'll see you back here next time.